From the Ohio AgNet, voice you know with the news you trust studio, sponsored by Grain Equipment Company, where innovation meets execution. I'm Joel Norwood. Well, happy Friday, and sure happy you're joining us. A couple of notes to pass along to you today. The Ohio Safety Congress and Expo coming up April 16th through the 18th at the Greater Columbus Convention Center. Attend educational sessions and visit the Expo Marketplace. Registration is free. Visit ohiosafetycongress.com to learn more. Also, thanks to Ohio soybean farmers, Grow Next Gen offering free STEM resources and links students to cutting-edge ag careers. Discover more at grownextgen.org. In news, yesterday saw the release of USDA's World Ag Supply and Demand Estimates report, which trimmed corn ending stocks more than expected, dropping them to 1.465 billion bushels for this crop year. That's largely due to a 100 million bushel boost in projected corn exports. Corn production left unchanged at 14.87 billion bushels, yield holding at 179.3 bushels per acre, and harvested acres at 82.9 million. For soybeans, old crop ending stocks lowered slightly by 5 million bushels to 375 million, right in line with expectations. Meanwhile, wheat ending stocks up to 846 million bushels, up from 819 million last month. Total use was revised down by 17 million bushels, pushing that number higher. The full recap of the report online today at ohioagnet.com, thanks to Doug Tenney of Lice Mercantile. Tariffs, quite the newsmaker this week. Senate Majority Leader John Thune says he believes China will come to deal with President Trump on tariffs, but farm groups still worried about trade damage from steep levies kept in place for now.
I'm hoping that in the end that the Chinese, like a lot of other countries, will come to the table. There is clearly, in my view, room for negotiation that would achieve the objectives the president has laid out. And it could be in the benefit of both the U.S. and China.
Now, back on Wednesday, Trump paused individualized tariffs that he imposed on trade offenders, except for China, hoping talks with the others would boost market access for ag and industry. Senator Thune says China and its huge market remains a problem on several levels.
The president has made it very clear that he wants changes made, starting with fentanyl and the precursors that the Chinese make and then distributes and gets into this country. But I think there are other reciprocal type trading policies that could be implemented if the Chinese will come to the table and work with this administration.
On the flip side, groups like the American Soybean Association says they fear short-term disruptions and long-term damage to U.S. reputation and reliability with China's duty on U.S. beans now at 115%. Keep in mind, there are other competitors around the world like Brazil who are eager to get into those market gaps. And one more piece of news from D.C. to keep in mind. During a cabinet meeting yesterday, President Donald Trump introduced a proposal aimed at legalizing undocumented farm workers, allowing them to register with USDA and return to the U.S. legally after a self-deportation process. He said the approach would help preserve the ag labor force while encouraging undocumented individuals to identify themselves and follow a legal path. Under the plan, workers could remain temporarily if recommended by farmers, with the goal of re-entry within about 60 days. Farm Bureau President Zippy Duvall says he welcomes the acknowledgement of ag's labor needs. About 42% of migrant crop workers estimated to be undocumented. Stay tuned. We'll take a look at markets up next.
Over the years, you've brought them into your home. You were prescribed opioids after the C-section and after Dad's back injury. They helped when you were in pain, and you held on to them just in case. But did you know holding on to unused opioids puts your family at risk? Trouble with opioids can start at home with unused medicines such as pills, patches, and syrups. You can remove the risk and protect your family. Find out how at www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
Let's talk markets. What's driving those today and this week? Thanks to Brandt, helping growers take control for over 70 years. Checking in with Ryan.
This is Ryan Metzger with Lice Mercantile, giving you your week-ending recap. This week we've been seeing quite a bit of volatility led by President Trump's new trade policy that has now ratcheted up tariffs on China to 145%. This morning, China responded by raising tariffs to 125% on U.S. goods, but this statement from their finance ministry is what has stuck out to me. Quote, even if the U.S. continues to impose even higher tariffs, it will no longer have any economic significance and would go down as a joke in the history of world economics. If the U.S. continues to play a numbers game with tariffs, China will not respond. However, China did leave the door open for Beijing to turn to other retaliation, reiterating that China would fight the U.S. until the end. We need to keep an eye on the U.S. bond market, as it appears that is one of the main indicators the Trump administration is focusing on as they navigate these murky trade war waters. Please visit our website, licemercantile.com, to learn more about our grain marketing program and crop insurance services.
And thanks, Ryan, for that perspective. Let's take a look at markets in Chicago right now. May corn up 4 1/4 to 4.87 1/4 per bushel. New crop corn at 4.60, up 5 3/4. May soybeans 10.40 1/4, 11-cent gain, as November beans are up 11 3/4 to 10.16 1/2. July wheat up 10 1/2 at the moment, 5.64. Markets brought to you by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance. Online at seedconsultants.com. April cattle, 20-cent drop right now to $200.65 per hundredweight. April lean hogs, a loss of 38 cents to 85.63. May feeder cattle, 28 cents down to 275.03. And milk trending off by about 30 cents across the board. I'm Joel Norwood. This is the Ohio AgNet.